for this week's biggest threats. It's the 49ers at the Rams right after this. What's going on, 49er faithful? It's your boy, the WayneBreezie. Thank y'all so much for tuning into the biggest threats. This is one of my favorite shows because I kind of get to go through each team and I try my hardest to pick out 5 players that I feel may be a problem for the San Francisco 49ers. That's right, 5 players. Now, it was tough this week trying to pick out 5 players. Now, on a regular healthy season, Rams got some dangerous players. I'm just going to keep it a buck. But this particular week, week 3, there's a potential that they don't have as many threats, but there's 5 players I do want you guys to be aware of. Listen, we are brought to you by, all right? We are brought to you by residency.com. You can see the cool residency caps out there and, you know, just doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? I got them nicely stored in a nice little shelf. All right. So yeah, it is dope. So make sure you check out residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezie. All right. Use that promo code SFBreezie. You can save on your purchase. You can also check the article out on 49erswebzone.com. That's who I write for. So if you want to check out the article, it'll break down a little bit more in depth. Go ahead and check that out. 49erswebzone.com. All right, .com. Let's go ahead and get to the biggest threats. And I can tell you right now, here they are, man. Matthew Stafford. We'll start with him. Why is Matthew Stafford always a big threat? I mean, it's just super simple for me. I mean, he's their quarterback. He's their starting quarterback. He's a veteran. He's a savvy vet. That is going to probably be a pain in the San Francisco 49ers behind. And you kind of gotta look at Matthew Stafford and what he's done over his body of work. You just gotta give him props. Matthew Stafford is pretty daggone good. And look, he's not having the best year. He's healthy, but he doesn't have all his weapons. The good thing is he's not mobile, so he's not going to run. He's a 69.7 completion percent quarterback as of right now after the first 2 games. He is going to throw the ball. He is number 3 on the most passing yards this season with 533 total yards. He has a touchdown. He has an interception. So look, Matthew Stafford is going to look to throw the ball, and the Niners got to be prepared for it, right? They gotta watch for the quick throws. They gotta watch out for screens. They gotta watch for the big throws down the field. He's probably gonna have a game sort of similar to what Sam Darnold did with the 49ers. He's gonna look to push the ball down the field to whoever the wide receiver is gonna be, whether it's DeMarcus Robinson to Atwell. He's going to look to push the ball down the field. He's also going to look to move the chains. He's also going to look to hit these quick throws. He's also going to screen pass as well. Even though when I was looking up his screen passes, I know I've seen screen passing. It's been a big part of Matthew Stafford's game, but that was more when there was Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. Those guys aren't out. Will he rely on the screen game this time against the 49ers with Kyren Williams, maybe a couple of his tight ends? They're a little different. So Matthew Stafford's going to be missing a chunk of weapons, but he still poses as a big threat because he is the guy with the vision out there, and he's the guy that can actually execute what he needs to execute because he's just seen a lot of football. So it's hard to count out Matthew Stafford. Let's go with Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams is a second-team All-Pro running back, and he's not having a second-team. He's not having an All-Pro season as of right now. They're not running the ball well. It could be due to the injuries to the offensive line, but Kyren Williams isn't running the ball as particularly well as he did last season. But he still poses as a threat. In the run game, San Francisco 49ers give up a lot of explosive plays, you know what I mean? And they got to find a way to not give up a lot of explosive plays, especially on the ground. They don't want to give up, these explosive plays on the ground. They don't. He has 30 rushing attempts for 75 yards. He's only averaging 2.5 yards per carry. He does have 2 touchdowns on the ground. He's also a threat in the pass catching game. I was just talking about screening. Um, the screen game, Kyron Williams can be a threat in the screen game. The Niners struggle against all kinds of screens. They do pretty well against the wide receiver screens, but the running back screens, the tight end screens, they kind of struggle against those two particular types of screens. With them being without a lot of their star weapons, this could be a big game in the pass catching and the receiving game for Kyron Williams. And Kyron Williams, I remember last year, caught a touchdown pass opposed to rushing it in on the San Francisco 49ers in week 2's matchup. So look for Kyron Williams out of the backfield, but don't forget that he's a running back first. I think that's what's most important. He's still explosive. He still has the ability to run. They like outside zone. They're literally a carbon copy of what the San Francisco 49ers do. He's going to look to get the ball outside. I feel like the Niners are doing pretty well against the outside zones is when these running backs see the outside zone being blocked and then they make a cut back in and everybody's going one way. They cut back in and they make a guy miss. So the Niners are going to have to limit these explosive plays to Kyron Williams and find a way to just take him away, take him out of the run game whatsoever. But don't forget about him in the pass catching game. So got to find a way to keep an eye on Kyron Williams because if they don't, he will be a big threat. All right. Next up, I got their wide receiver 3, Demarcus Robinson, who's probably sliding into wide receiver 1. No Cooper Kupp, no Puka Nacua. This is the guy. This is a guy that Matthew Stafford's probably going to look and depend on. As far as moving the ball in the intermediate routes, getting the ball downfield as well. I think he can be a problem for the 49ers. 6 receptions on the season for 92 yards. No touchdowns, but he is averaging 15.3 yards per reception. That's something to pay attention to. It truly is. So, he's been targeted 7 times. He has 4 receptions on the season. They're going to go to him. They're going to try to get him. He's been targeted 11 times. He has 6 receptions on the season. They're going to try to get the ball to him, period. And Niners need to make sure that they don't forget about him. And I think that's what's most important. Like, don't let him slip down the seam. Don't let him, if a safety is on him, make sure the other safety over the top is there to protect from him making an explosive play down the field. He doesn't have that crazy breakaway speed, but he's a guy that can get open, and he's a guy that can do damage to the San Francisco 49ers secondary. So don't sleep on Demarcus Robinson. He is going to be their number 1. If the Niners do plan to take him away, obviously they got to pay attention to some of their other guys like the rookie Jordan Whittington, but they need to make sure that they limit this kid. We don't want him having a day and keeping drives alive for Matthew Stafford. That would be a big problem for the 49ers. So don't sleep on Demarcus Robinson. He can be a big threat. Let's switch it to the defensive side. The defensive side, who's a threat on the defensive side? And I'm going to go with their linebackers, outside linebackers as it is. Opposed to the inside linebackers, this is where they're going to look to generate pressure, and it's going to start with their rookie, Jared Verse. That's right, rookie Jared Verse. Listen, he is top in pressure rate, really pass rushing rate. He is top up there in his pressures, right? He's really good at getting the pass rush, getting off on the pass rush, winning the pass rush. He only has a sack, but he's definitely forcing the quarterbacks to speed up their processing and get and either have incomplete passes or he's disrupting the passer. Pretty much. That's what he is. He's a disruptor when it comes to the quarterback passing the ball. So the Niners got to figure him out. Where is he going to line up? Is he going to line up? He's the strong side linebacker. He's the Sam, right? So he's going to line up on the strong side. How do the Niners find a way to, do they chip him? Do they double him? What are they going to do? They don't want this guy getting off on Brock Purdy. Offensive line is going to have believe it or not, the offensive line may have a day with Jared Verse. It's cool. This dude's motor is ridiculous. He's full of energy. The numbers aren't super high. He only has 1 sack on the season. as of right now. But like I said, he's a guy. He's a guy that you don't want to you don't want to forget about. He also has a forced fumble on the season as well. So one forced fumble, one sack as of right now. He does have 11 total tackles. 8 of them are solo. 3 are assisted and 4 tackles for loss, and he's hit the quarterback 2 times. So on a young season, Jared Verse is making a name for himself, and the Niners want to make sure that they find a way to neutralize this big threat, because if not, he could be a problem for the San Francisco 49ers, and we don't want the Niners getting into these crazy 3rd and long situations, all right? So Jared Verse, all right. Now, look, on the opposite side, the weak side, it's going to be my man Byron Young. He's also a problem, okay? He's going to pose a problem too. Byron Young had a phenomenal rookie season last year. Defense is a little different. A little bit more probably riding on the young guy, but, I mean, he still can be a problem, and the Niners want to make sure that they don't let him get off as well on the opposite side. Is he going to be on McKivit's side? Is he going to be on Trent Williams' side? Both of those tackles gave up a total of 10 pressures last week and 2 sacks out of those 10 pressures. He only has a sack. He has a sack on the season as well with 4 solo tackles. But last year he got 9 sacks. And so from that number lets me know that he has the ability to rush the passer. So these 2 guys, Jared Verse, Byron Young, we don't want them teeing off and getting freebies at our quarterback, because he's going to hit the quarterback. Last year he hit the quarterback 19 times. This year only has 1 quarterback hit. He has 2 tackles for a loss. Again, he has 4 solo tackles, 2 assisted, so a total of 6 combined. He does have a sack on the season. Byron Young could be a big threat for the 49ers if they don't find a way, again, to neutralize the Rams' pass rush. Now, here's how you do it. It's simple, man. Keep this defense on the field, get long, sustainable drives, tire their behinds out, and you won't have to necessarily worry about the pass rush too much. So my 5 biggest threats, going from backwards to frontwards: Byron Young out there on the weak side. You got Jared Verse out there on the strong side defensively. Demarcus Robinson is going to be the receiver. I think that's going to try to hold it down. You got Kyron Williams. This is their playmaker, superstar, all-pro running back, and nonetheless, former Super Bowl champion Matthew Stafford, super-duper experienced guy in the NFL, experienced quarterback. So the Niners got their hands full. The Rams might not be star-studded, but they got some guys that are going to be looking to play. The Rams do not want to go to 0-3. The Niners do not want to overlook the Rams. So the Niners need to make sure that they prepare for the Rams' biggest threats. I'm your host, WayneBreezie. Make sure you check out the sponsors over at residency.com. Use that promo code SFBreezie. Don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you comment. And please, up there, check out the rest of the videos, baby. Check out the rest of the videos. Until next week, biggest threats, we out.